Are you tired of those pesky bunnies running circles around you in Carnival Hunt? You feel like you're losing control of your own circus, always one step behind their frantic schemes? Well, the show's not over yet. I spent many hours hunting these grounds and gathering tips from the community, and I've put together 100 essential tips to transform you from a struggling performer into the terrifying star of this twisted attraction. Before we dive in, let's clear something up pretty quickly. While many players call the killer the Magician, the official name is the Carnival Monster. There will be many different types of monsters, and the Magician is just one of them. For this guide, we'll be talking from the Magician's point of view, as he's the only monster available. However, a good number of these tips apply regardless of the monster selected, so hopefully it's still worth watching in the future. Today we're covering everything from the absolute basics to pro-level trapping that'll have those bunnies hopping right into your hands. As a quick heads up, the game is still in development, so some of these mechanics might change, but with these principles as a foundation, you'll be a fearsome opponent no matter what. Another quick heads up, sorry for the delay, this video is very different from what I've been putting out, in that I'm not scripting most of it. These tips are very much off of a scratch piece of paper with a bunch of random notes, so I hope you don't mind my rambling at some points. Before we jump into tip number 1, I want to give a massive thank you to my amazing channel members. Your support means the world, and I'm proud to share that 100% of all membership income is donated to my local animal shelters. A huge shout out to my Tier 1 members Polo, Jay Reynolds, Peter RJ, and Evil Cherub. And an extra special thanks to my Tier 2 members, Kelnak, In Cairo, Winson, Fox Rocks, and ZSD. I also want to give a very warm welcome to our newest Tier 2 members, Crazy Creeper and Mirror Steer. Your generosity is making a real difference to those who need it. So with our fantastic channel members thanked for their amazing contributions, let's get started with tip number 1. Let's start with the Magician's abilities. Tip number 1, the grab is currently pretty rough. Take your time and set up the grab as necessary. If the bunnies get close to you, it's a lot easier for them to dodge your grab, so try and space it out properly and then only go in for the grab when you think you're going to get it. Tip number 2, bunnies can evade you using tables and interesting geometry, so throwing a bunny at another bunny, either a fake one or a real one, can be a great way to shorten a chase. Tip number 3, you can grab bunnies off of zip lines. So if there's a bunny coming up the zip line here, you don't have to wait for him to fall down and start running. You can grab him off of the zip line. Tip number 4, very similar, you can grab bunnies off of their equipment. Just because they're on some balloons or a unicycle doesn't mean you can't grab them. Moving on to hat trick. The hat trick is not great in chases right now. I really recommend using it when a bunny is animation locked. Like if there was a bunny on this door opening it, you could use the hat trick and grab them off of it. Tip number 6, you can use hat trick to get rid of any items that the bunnies leave down. So if this bunny was a pile of marbles, you could use the hat trick and get rid of it. Tip number 7, destroy bunny equipment when you can. Some of it can be really dangerous to leave behind, especially the spring equipment for bunnies, so try and destroy it with hat trick or by going up to it manually and holding E. Tip number 8, if a bunny's running away from you on a unicycle, you can try to cut them off ahead in an area where they can't dodge very well. Let's say they're going through this door, you can try and time it and use the hat trick to catch them off their unicycle there. Tip number 9, use your invisibility. Don't just use it for teleporting. The invisibility is really powerful for catching bunnies off guard. Similar to that, tip number 10, learn how to stutter step or tap walk. If you just tap W and then let go of it, you will move very slowly, but you will not make walking noise. The reason that's important is while you're invisible, the bunnies can still hear you stomping around. Tip number 11, you can teleport using booths instead of using your invisibility teleport power. This saves that cooldown for when you need it. Tip number 12, try to use your imposters as soon as you can, off cooldown. In my opinion, they are the Magician's strongest ability. Tip number 13, pay attention to your imposter count on the bottom right. If you see that you have 3 out of 4 imposters and it suddenly goes up to 4 out of 4 imposters, that means one of the rabbits got rid of one of your imposters. Tip number 14, what are passive imposters? Passive imposters are kind of like landmines. You can put them down and they will be activated by bunnies doing anything that can make noise, is a good way to think about it. If a bunny just slowly walks past a passive imposter, it will not trigger. But if a bunny does any objectives or runs on a passive imposter, it will trigger, tackle the bunny, and try to damage them. Tip number 15, use passive imposters to monitor and block objectives. This zipline here is an objective that bunnies very frequently go for. Putting a passive imposter in front of that objective prevents them from doing that zipline right away. They have to get to the imposter first, either with a firework or by brute forcing the attack. Tip number 16, check rope spots. If you're finding the bunnies are frequently coming up to the next floor without activating doors or anything, they're probably using a rope. If you find a rope spot that's active, you can put a passive bunny on top and it will stop the bunnies. Tip number 17, don't bother passive impostoring the cages. I know it might seem like a good idea at first, but normally a bunny's teammate will come to rescue them from the cage, and they can just kick off the passive imposter really quickly. That cooldown is much better reserving it for objectives. Tip number 18, what are active imposters? Active imposters are a new version of the imposter power. If you hold out your imposter ability and you hold the activate button, you will drop an active imposter. This imposter will roam around randomly, it will seek out bunnies that are walking or not playing dead, and it will chase them and attack them like a normal imposter. Tip number 19, use an active imposter to help with chases. If you're chasing a bunny and they are looping you around an object that you can't really get around, drop an active imposter nearby, it'll squish them from both ends and they won't be able to escape. That tip also works really well on infinites, like this infinite roller coaster infinite. If a bunny's on that side, you have to go all the way around to get them, but they can very easily hop over this wall and avoid you permanently. If you drop an active imposter right here, or on the other side, it will prevent them from doing that. And he'll walk around just like that. Tip number 20, you can use active imposters to avoid the stagger animation or help offset it when you drop down floors. A great place we can see this is if there's a bunny around this right corner activating the striker for the zip line. Normally we can't hat grab them from here. But what you can do is you can drop an active imposter. That active imposter will tackle them. Okay, I've tried recording this a couple times. Carnival Hunt does not like it in sandbox mode when you drop the active imposter that far away, I guess. Or they just don't like it at all. I've tried recording this a couple times. Carnival Hunt sandbox mode does not like it when I drop the active imposter here. The game kind of stutters, but I'm going to go ahead and finish this point. The active imposter will tackle the bunny on the striker. You can drop down, you can eat that stagger from falling down, and then you can grab the bunny. Tip number 21, you can use active imposters to hedge your bets when looking for a bunny playing dead. Let's say I chased a bunny into this room and they started playing dead. I know they're playing dead in here somewhere, but I don't know which bunny it is. You can drop down, not a hat trick. You can drop down an active imposter. And then what that'll do is while you check the bunnies, keep in mind this can be time consuming, but while you check the bunnies, instead of a bunny being able to stand up and run away while you're in the animation of checking a bunny, they can't. If they try to stand up and run away, that active imposter will grab them. This is why I say it hedges your bets. Even if you make a wrong guess a couple times, they can't do anything. Tip number 22, if you have your active imposter off cooldown, it also works pretty well if you're doing a pincher attack against a bunny running away on a unicycle. Let's say I'm chasing a unicycle bunny here. If I can drop that active imposter near the doorway, we will sandwich that bunny and they won't be able to get anywhere. Hey, this is Editing Kovo coming in for a brief intermission here before tip 23. Just a heads up, I don't know if I was extremely tired or having some kind of mental episode, but my counting for the rest of this video seems to not be great. So the numbers are going to kind of bounce around a little bit in random spots. Bear with me, I'll have the correct number in the top left. I'm sorry about that, but the tips are still valid. The number's just off. I don't know what happened. Tip number 22, if you're good on keys, I'm in sandbox mode, so ignore my key count right now. If you're doing pretty well on keys and you're waiting for a cooldown to come off, let's say I really need to protect the zip line, you can use your shush ability and you can just hold it to lock the bunnies in place. Normally they won't move and give away that aura reading. So you can just stay here, wait for your cooldown to come off, block that objective, and then continue playing. Just in case anybody doesn't know, the shush mechanic only takes energy. It does not have a max time. Tip number 25, the shush mechanic is a great tool to use on cooldown, especially if you don't know where the bunnies are yet. I will frequently stop and I will shush for maybe 5-10 seconds just to kind of double check that there are no bunnies on floors above me and get a feel for the bunnies around me. Tip number 27, what are cards? Cards is one of the magician's abilities. He can hold up to 3 cards. Whenever he uses his card ability, you can pick between one of 2 cards. They all have different effects. You pick a card, it adds it to your hand. When you pick up a bunny, a live bunny, if they have room in their inventory, you can push that number and dump that card in their inventory. I obviously can't do it on the fake ones, but you can put that card in their inventory and then it will take effect. Tip number 28, there are 2 types of cards that I will put on screen now. There are passive cards and active cards. Passive cards will passively take effect for their max duration. Let's say we'll cut their inventory by 4 slots for a max duration of 180 seconds. Active cards require you to push the number on the card to have that effect on the bunny. A great way to see what number is affecting that bunny is if you look on the top left, not in sandbox mode, but when you're in a real game, if you look at the top left, the card that's over their icon will have that number on it. Tip number 29, know which cards are best and prioritize them when picking your cards. I'm going to kind of cheese a couple more tips here and we're going to go through each card as its own tip and explain what they do. These cards are also in order of my personal ranking. Tip number 30, the snitch card. The snitch card is the best card by far in my opinion. What it does is it will highlight the nearest bunny for 180 seconds to the bunny you put the card in. So it will not highlight the bunny you drop the card in, it will highlight their friends nearby. Tip number 31, the Costly Moves card. This is the second best card in my opinion. It will drain charge faster from bunnies and it lasts for 120 seconds. It's great just for passive pressure. Tip number 32, this is our first active card and this is the Careless card. The Careless card, when you activate its ability, will drop all items from the bunny's pockets and you can activate it once within 120 seconds of putting it in the bunny's inventory. A little bonus tip for the Careless card. I saw somebody mentioning this in the Discord, but I don't know who it was, so unfortunately I can't credit you. If you use the Careless card on a bunny and then throw them in one of these boxes and then activate it right before they get teleported away, it's really powerful. All the bunny's items will drop on the ground up on this higher floor, but they will get teleported to a cage down below. Tip number 33, the On Command card. This is another active card that will force the bunny to play dead. Similar to Careless, once you put this card in the bunny's inventory, you have 120 seconds to activate it. Tip number 34, Unchargeable. This card does what it says. For 120 seconds, the bunnies cannot be charged. This is okay in niche situations, but you have to bank on the bunny not having a lot of charge to begin with, or it's really not going to matter. Tip number 35, the Oil Leak card. For 60 seconds, the bunny will leave a trail of oil behind them as they move. This card is really only good for tunneling. Tunneling isn't a great strategy to begin with in Carnival Hunt, so it's not great. Tip number 36, the Vanish Item card. Fun fact, apparently this card doesn't exist. I had to roll cards, I think 30 or 40 times to get it to appear for me to take screenshots of it. But the Vanished Item card, it is another active card. Again, just like the others, you have 120 seconds from when you put the card in the bunny's inventory to activate it. When you activate it, it will dissolve whatever item is in the bunny's hands. So instead of just dropping it on the ground, it will dissolve it. That item will disappear. They can't use it. This one's a little tricky. You have to use it when you know that they have an item in their hand. So you have to be chasing that bunny. So you have to know that you're chasing that bunny. That might sound a little weird, but as some of you might know, you don't get chase indicators when you're in chase telling you which bunny you're chasing. You have to wait until you grab them to know who you got. Tip number 37, Tiny Pockets. This one is pretty bad. So Tiny Pockets blocks 4 inventory slots and it lasts for 180 seconds. That might sound okay off the get-go, but you have to remember that cards normally block 2 inventory slots by default. So this one just blocks 2 additional slots. It's not fantastic. But in my opinion, it is still a lot better than the final card, tip number 38, Fake Seer. Fake Seer is kind of useless. If the bunny doesn't play dead, it doesn't apply, and bunnies know what cards they have in their inventory, so they'll know not to play dead. Now we're going to move away from the magician's powers and talk a little bit about strategy. Tip number 39, you are fighting the clock, not the bunnies. That sounds a little weird, but we're going to go into some more detail on a couple further tips. Just know that if the timer on the top hits 0, the magician wins. It's not a tie like in other games. To that end, your goal is to keep the bunnies down and away from the 4th floor and the exit doors as much as possible. You don't need to tunnel a bunny out to kill them, you just have to keep them down for the timer to run out. Tip number 40, when you're just starting the match, you want to apply pressure pretty quickly. A lot of bunnies, when the match just starts, will assume that the magician will take time to get to them, because the magician tends to loot a couple bunnies in the beginning, or at least newer magicians do. My recommendation, don't do that. As soon as you spawn, go to one of your adjacent rooms and look for bunnies just standing in the open, not even trying to hide. Tip number 41, very similar to the tip we were just talking about, I recommend not hoarding your keys early on. It'll help you get a lot of early pressure to kind of snowball an advantage. Some players will hoard their keys for the higher floors. I personally don't completely agree with that. I tend to like to activate 1 to 2, maybe 3 ticket men on the first floor to help me get a good amount of pressure until the bunnies can move up. Tip number 42, on the note of moving up, it's important to know that the magician gets stronger the higher you go. Not inherently stronger, his powers don't get better, but the floors themselves get less advantageous for the bunnies the higher you go. They have fewer objectives to spread out on and they have fewer resources. Tip number 43, personally, I like to keep 1 key on hand at almost all times. So I will run around and I will activate Ticket Mem or the Sentinels as much as I need to, but I like to keep 1 on me just to avoid situations where I'm running low on power. Tip number 44, try and set up the 2nd floor early. I know it's nice to have good pressure on the 1st floor, but bunnies can sneak up pretty easily. I like to get up to the 2nd floor, start preparing, and getting ready for the bunnies, so when they come up, I'm ready to fight them at full power. What I'll do to prepare for that is I will place my passive bunnies at objectives, like we were talking about, and I will activate Ticket Man on the 2nd floor, so I know what's going on. For example, if I come up to the 2nd floor, I might activate this Ticket Man here, because he's in a really good choke point. And then I might move over this way and drop one of my passive imposters, one of my little landmine bunnies, right on this zipline, the striker. because bunnies really like the striker. Tip number 45, kind of related. What objectives should you trap with your bunnies? I really like to trap the zip lines. The zip lines don't take any gears from the bunnies. They don't have to have a gear to complete it, but it only takes one of them up at a time, and then they have to activate it again. So bunnies really like to use the zip lines. They'll go up and then they'll drop a rope down for their friends. I like to trap the zip lines very frequently, but other good things to trap are the roller coasters if you're on the first floor and you really want to try and get that extra pressure, along with the Ferris wheel on the third floor. And you can even trap the cannons if you want to. Another thing I like to trap very frequently are doors. This door here opens this gate to go up a level. I will normally throw a passive imposter. I don't have one on cooldown right now, but I will throw a passive imposter right in front of it so they can't open that door. Or at least they have to deal with the imposter before they can open the door. Tip number 46, this is kind of the same as the last tip, but learn what objectives are the most popular. Like I was talking about, the striker for the zipline, in my opinion, is the most popular, followed by probably the doors. Tip number 47, use the ticket men on choke spots. So the ticket men spawn randomly and they can spawn in really terrible spots. You want to look for ticket men that are in good choke points like this one here, where the bubble fully encapsulates the area and the bunnies can't just walk around it. This is an example of a really good ticket man. This is still actually a really good ticket man because it blocks the access to the zip line. So you could activate that one as well. Let me see if I can find a bad ticket man to show you. Funny enough, I'm not finding any absolutely terrible ticket man spawns to show you. This actually never happens to me. Normally there's a good handful of them, but this is probably the closest example I can get. If you get a ticket man that's a little too far off the main path, again, this isn't a great example to show you, but at least in this one, you can see the bunnies could go up and they could just avoid this circle and go all the way around it. That's actually tip number 48. It looks like I jumped ahead a little bit in my bullet points, but tip number 48 is to avoid wasting keys on useless ticket men. Tip number 49, just like we talked about trapping objectives, it's useful to trap gears. If you can stumble across a gear on one of the floors, especially the higher floors where gears are rarer, you can put a passive imposter on the gear and that will deter bunnies from grabbing it. Tip number 50, this one is kind of best to think about on a case-by-case basis, because as we're going to talk about, I don't like to descend floors, but I recommend, if the timing allows it, for you to go down and close off any doors the bunnies have opened. It gives them one more roadblock that they need a key to get past, and it gives you a noise notification when they start messing with it. And after I close the doors, of course, I'll normally stick down a passive imposter bunny right underneath to further prevent them. Tip number 51, don't get tunnel visioned on one particular bunny. You're fighting against the clock, not the bunnies like I talked about before. If you can get that bunny down a floor, or if you can get that bunny into a bad spot and waste its time, that's fine. You don't have to get the grab. Tip number 52, let's talk about what you can do after you grab a bunny. So there are a couple primary things you can do, namely you can loot the bunny, which is where you shake it and look for a key. You can throw the bunny, which is where you throw it and deal some damage. Or you can lock the bunny in a cage. You can also put the card on the bunnies, but we already talked about that bit. If you lock the bunny in a cage, of course I can't do it with a fake one, but if you lock the bunny in a cage, their friends will need to come rescue them and it wastes a good bit more time. Notably, when you grab a bunny, they can wiggle out pretty fast. Normally, unless you're right next to a cage, you can't do all three, so you should prioritize what you want to get done. Also, it's important to note, if you put the bunny in a cage, it will still take a life gear away. Tip number 55, since we're talking about cages, look out for mousetraps on the cages. If you try to put a bunny in a cage quickly when it has a mousetrap on it, the bunny will get out of your grasp and they can run away. You can see the mousetrap on the cage. It's pretty visible. Tip number 56, this goes back to what I was saying about applying pressure initially at the start of the match. Looting bunnies for keys takes time. Normally it's better, in my opinion, to get keys from the live bunnies unless you're really struggling for keys. Tip number 57. Reading out tip number 57 and realizing that we're already talking about the final doors really makes me realize that I did not organize these particularly well. However, let's talk a little bit about the final doors and what you can do to prevent them from being opened. There are two sets of final doors. They're always on top of the two main rooms. We'll talk about map spawns here shortly, but the final doors can be opened by taking gears, loading them onto the door openers on either side, and then cranking both of those open for the bunnies. That'll open the doors and it will start the in-game collapse. What you can do to prevent this, of course, is you can drop passive imposters in front of the doors. You can activate any ticket men that are nearby, and you can rotate between the two doors, or if you know they're only pressuring one set of doors, you can stay in this area. Once the bunnies have access to the final doors, you no longer want to go down at all. You need to guard these doors like your life depends on it. Also, a quick note about the ways to open these doors. These two panels here, if the bunnies fully crank it open, this light will turn green and you can no longer stop it. It's not like you can regress progress like the other doors. You can't just crank a lever and close the door. Tip number 58, the energy that a bunny has is valuable. Just being able to grab a bunny and throw him down from the 4th floor to the 1st is really important. They have to waste a ton of energy coming back up. If they want to get that energy back, they have to have a key and find their friends or go meet Jack. Tip number 59, what does the hat do for the magician? So the hat doesn't just instantly end the game if you find it and activate it. It actually gives you a couple powers. It gives you infinite charge on the bottom left, so nothing you do takes energy anymore. And it also gives you permanent wall hacks on the bunnies, meaning you can see them across the map no matter where they are. Super, super useful. Basically, if you find the hat, you become unstoppable for the last bit of the match. Tip number 60, finding the escape hat. The escape hat can be a little tricky to find. The escape hat does not have an audio cue, not that I know of, when it spawns or when you're close to it. You just gotta kind of wander around the first floor and look for it. The hat tends to spawn near walls. It'll spawn off to the side. It normally doesn't spawn in the middle of a room, not that I've seen. But you can just keep walking in one direction, make sure to thoroughly look through all the rooms to look for the hat, and you should eventually find it. It's notable that the bunnies cannot see the hat unless they have a radar. So even if they walk right past it, if they don't have a radar, they can't use it. All right, this would be what the hat looks like. It gives off a slight purplish glow. When you grab it, you can see that you have infinite charge and you'll be able to see any live bunnies all the way across the map. Also, I found that right in the nick of time. Tip number 61. I've had to record these a little out of order because finding the hat was a little finicky. But balance when to go for the hat and when to stay on the objective. Like we were just talking about with the final doors, if you get to the last 5 minutes and the hat spawns on the bottom floor, normally you do not want to go down and look for the hat. You want to stay on these doors because even though the hat spawned, the bunnies can still open the final doors and escape. Tip number 62, the hat can only save one bunny, which is another big reason why you want to stay up here on the final doors. Worst case, if one of the bunnies finds the hat, one bunny will escape, but you can prevent the rest from getting out. Tip number 63, the bunnies seem to really like Jack. Jack is what the bunnies can use. They can gamble for items through his little slot system, and Jack can also charge them up without them needing to find a friend. Jack is an important objective to look at. If you're passing by, take a look at Jack. Make sure there's no bunnies tinkering around with him. Tip number 64, this is a little outside of the game, but getting resources for crafting as the magician kind of sucks. Oh, hey, look, it's a bad ticket man. This is kind of going, I'm going to interrupt my tip, but this is going back to what we were talking about before, bad ticket man. If I activated this guy, the bubble wouldn't block off any of the passageways. The bunnies could just run around it. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Getting resources as the magician sucks for crafting. From what I understand, this will be changed in the future, so I don't know how long this tip will apply. But for resources, you only get resources that the bunnies are carrying at the end of the match if you do not kill the bunnies. So the bunnies have to be alive, the timer has to hit 0, and they have to have materials in their inventory. One of the main reasons this sucks is bunnies can get spiteful and just drop their materials right before the timer ends, denying you resources. Tip number 65, don't get frustrated. I know that sounds like a kind of stupid tip, but you're learning this game is an alpha. There are a lot of frustrating mechanics right now. Just give your feedback when you can and have faith that the developers will properly balance and fix the game as they go. All right, let's get into tracking and information. So tip number 57, finding bunnies can be a little tricky. What I like to do to find bunnies is to utilize sound and map knowledge. That was recommended to me by Roba. You've probably seen quite a few of their comments so far. They're a great magician tutor on the Discord. What you want to do, a lot of bunnies, especially the newer bunnies, tend to run around a lot, and that's very audible for the magician. You can also listen for like items being dropped and stuff like that, but running is a really big way to spot bunnies. Tip number 58, this is very related. Sound is really important for tracking. I was just talking about that. If a bunny is running near you on the other side of a wall, you can hear it. That can get a little tricky to track if they're above or below you, so you have to kind of learn how to track through there as well. But again, listen for bunnies running. Tip number 59, a really awesome tip for finding bunnies. This has gotten me accused of being a cheater before, so hear this one out if you pay attention to anything. You can use the mannequins around the map to find the bunnies. This was a tip I found in the Discord by Kevin. Basically, you see how the mannequins follow me with their heads? They will also do that with the bunnies. And they can follow you through walls. So if I'm standing over here on the other side of these stairs, all those heads are still following me. That works with bunnies too, alive or playing dead. So I love this room for using the mannequins. If I come in and I see all the mannequins looking at one spot, I can just follow where their eyes are and I can tell which bunny, if they're playing dead, is alive. It works really well. It can give you great information on the bunnies. I highly recommend looking at the mannequins when you see them on the map. If all the mannequins are looking at you, there are probably not any bunnies nearby. Tip number 60, it's a little hard for me to demonstrate, but you can see dropped items. If you're walking into a room and a bunny hears you, let's say they're carrying a gear and they play dead, let's say you don't see them play dead, but you hear that gear sound, that gear will be highlighted in red right next to the bunny. So you know that that's a real bunny, you can grab him, all because that gear. And it works for other items too. If they're holding something in their hand and they play dead, it'll fall and it'll get highlighted in red for you. I just got fat shamed by this pole. That's fun. Okay. Tip number 61, you can hear bunnies' pings and chat. So if bunnies are talking to each other through in-game voice comms, you can hear it through proximity chat if you get close enough. You can also hear it when a bunny pings you. A lot of brand new bunnies, or even experienced bunnies that don't know, if they're playing dead near you, they'll still ping the magician as you're walking past. You can hear bunnies whispering when they ping you. I've used that to find several bunnies playing dead. Tip number 62, pay attention to bunny cosmetics. The game accounts for bunny cosmetics pretty well in that not all the fake bunnies will be naked like this. When you load into a match, it'll be a mix of bunnies on the ground of all the different cosmetics available. I say pay attention to bunny cosmetics because if you're chasing one bunny and he has particular cosmetics on and he plays dead in the next room while you're chasing him, you don't have to look at every single bunny on the ground and wonder if it's the live one. You just have to look at the bunnies with the matching cosmetics. Tip number 63, if you're chasing a bunny, watch the bunny's hands. If he pulls out a firework, it looks like a firework launcher, you know he might shoot it at you. If he pulls out a container that looks like marbles, you know he might drop it if you're following him. Keep an eye on the bunny's hands and you might know what they're going to use against you. This room is also great for the mannequins, by the way. Tip number 64, this again applies to finding bunnies who are playing dead. If a bunny is playing dead and they have a key inserted in their back, you can see that when they're playing dead. So if you're walking around and you see a key poking out of any bunny backs, you know that's a real bunny. Tip number 65, this goes back to my previous tip of not over focusing on one bunny. If a bunny is trying really hard to get your attention, there's probably something else more important happening across the map. So keep an eye on your objectives and don't get tunnel visioned. Tip number 66, if you're chasing a bunny, look for bunnies in tight spots. They can fit in places you definitely can't as the magician. For example, if I'm chasing cloth, fun. For example, if I'm chasing a bunny this direction and I don't see him when he rounds the corner, he could hide in this little corner, for example, or around this corner. Let's say he goes left, he just tucks his little body around this corner. I might not see that. I might go and continue running this way. Bunnies don't leave scratch marks like in Dead by Daylight, so you really have to look around as you're following bunnies. Tip number 67, let's start talking about maps and movement. So learn the map via the sandbox. This is another tip from Piggy. What you want to do, kind of like what I'm doing right now to go through this tips video here, you want to load in to a sandbox. You can either do it as the magician or bunny because you can swap between the two roles in the sandbox, and you want to walk around and see the rooms. The rooms are not as random as they might seem when you first start playing. I'll go into that a little bit later, but you want to walk around, kind of look at the rooms and see where your objectives are primarily. Past that, you can learn as you play. Tip number 68, how maps generate. So I'm going to put a little overlay on the screen here so you can see the different types of maps, but basically all maps generate in a square pattern. You have one room called Central. For this map variation, it's the little Ferris wheel, not Ferris wheel, what is this? Merry-go-round. For this room, it's the merry-go-round. And then you have two main large rooms connected to it. In this case, we have the Circus Hall right here. And then over this direction, we have the Organ Hall. And I know for a fact that between these two large rooms, there's going to be a connecting series of hallways, just like this. The map is one big square. That's all you really need to know. And like I said before, the final doors will always spawn at the top of the big rooms. Tip number 70, I talked about this a little bit earlier, but don't go down floors unless you absolutely have to. Once you see a bunny on the next floor up, like let's say the match just started and I was on the first floor, if I didn't come up to the second floor early, if I ever see a bunny up here, I will come up to the second floor and I will normally not go down. Your entire goal in this game is to prevent bunnies from going up. If you're hanging around on the first floor, you can't really prevent the bunnies on the second floor from ascending. So unless it's really, really urgent, I will not go down. I will let them come to me because they're fighting the clock. Tip number 71. This goes back to my active imposter tip from the very beginning of the video. Falling down floors really sucks as magician. Not as bad as bunny. You don't lose health states as the magician, but you get staggered for a really, really long time. It's not worth it to fall down floors. If you're chasing a bunny and he drops down, he's going to take some damage. You don't have to bother continuing that chase. Tip number 72, if you're on a higher floor and you grab a bunny, try to throw them all the way to the bottom, right? So let's say I have a bunny in my hand. Let's grab one here.
This one?
If I'm going to throw this bunny, let's say I've looted him, I've put a card on him, I don't want to throw him at these walkways here, this balcony. I want to try and throw him all the way down to the first floor. That means he has to do a lot more to get back up to whatever floor you were on and go towards the exit. Tip number 73, you can get a good line of sight on some objectives from the higher floors. A great example being the floor that we're on now, you can see quite a few different points from up here, like the striker there. I could potentially grab a bunny off that striker from this 4th floor. Notably on that though, you don't want to hang out on the 4th floor and try to snipe bunnies down on the 1st floor. It's normally not going to work out for you. Just look 1 floor down, maybe 2. All right, since we were just talking about that striker, let's go over that one next. Tip number 74, the zip lines / strikers are really important. Learn how to counter them. I was talking about this a bit earlier, but the zip lines / striker seem to be probably the most common ways that bunnies go up because they don't require gears. All a bunny has to do is land a few skill checks on this striker, it will activate the zip line, and then they have to get to the zip line and it takes them up this rail onto the next floor. Easy peasy. The downsides of the zip line is it can only carry 1 bunny at a time before it has to be reactivated, but normally bunnies can place down rope when they get to the next floor, so it's not a big deal. And also, as the magician, you cannot get rid of rope, so that's pretty terrible. Tip number 75, this is directly related to zip lines, learn how to counter them. Like I was talking about with the passive imposter, you can put the passive imposter in front of the striker, but another great option, once you get into the higher MMRs, bunnies tend to activate the striker and then go away, so you don't know when they're using the zip line to get up. You don't get a notification when a bunny gets on the zip line. You only get a notification when it's active, when it's turned on. So if a bunny activates the zip line and then goes away, what I like to do is drop a passive imposter right here on top of the zipline platform, and then if they go to get on that zip line, it'll grab them, you can get to them, catch them, and throw them down. I've had quite a few matches where protecting one already activated zip line has gotten me 4 or 5 grabs. Tip number 76, similar to what we were just talking about, learn how the different ascension objectives work. That being the zip lines, the cannons, the Ferris wheels, the roller coasters, and these stairways that they open with doors. Tip number 77, the roller coaster is janky. The game is an alpha, like I said before, so hopefully this might get fixed soon, but the roller coaster, if you even get grazed by the roller coaster, it'll put you in a log stagger animation. And I've had it happen a couple times where I'll be on a bunny, I might have grabbed a bunny in front of the roller coaster. As soon as it starts moving, it will stagger me and then it will drag me and shove me off the platform down to the floor below. The roller coaster is kind of jank. It's okay to protect the area if you know bunnies are coming up, but you really don't want to play on the card itself. Tip number 78, this is kind of similar to the roller coaster. Climbing up some objects can be kind of finicky. For example, the benches is the one I normally see it on. You can step up on the bench here, but you can't immediately step up onto the next platform. You have to walk up onto this handrail here in order to be able to reach the next platform. You lose a lot of speed going up these benches, which is why bunnies like to use them. To learn how to get up the benches pretty quick, you can kind of shuffle back and forth and you'll go up like that. It is finicky though. There are also some boxes that you can climb up, but that are also finicky. Tip number 79, no, you cannot walk through that cloth. I know it looks like it's tall enough, I know it looks like you can fit, and I know that cloth is probably 1/16 of an inch thick. That cloth is made of steel. You cannot walk through it. Don't try. Tip number 80, ignore chests. If you see a bunny on a chest, you can try and grab the bunny. You can chase the bunny like normal, but don't bother putting down a passive imposter or an active imposter. Don't bother camping the area for a chest. It's not an important objective. The bunnies can get healing items in the form of oil from the chest, and they can also get good upgrade materials, but for you as the magician, it's completely unimportant. Don't bother with chests. Tip number 81, at higher MMR, bunnies protect each other a lot with marbles and rockets. If you're chasing bunnies and you know there are others nearby, don't get greedy. If you grab that bunny, you might only have a second or two before their friend rounds the corner and shoots you with a rocket. So normally it's best just to grab the bunny and then immediately throw it to deal some damage as soon as that animation is over. Bonus points if you can throw that bunny into their friend. It's really funny. Tip number 82, avoiding marbles. Marbles have a pretty small hitbox. If you're chasing a bunny, let's say down this hallway, and they drop some marbles, that hitbox is only as wide as the marbles themselves. You can normally just walk around it. I can't show you because I can't really drop marbles here, but you know, I just realized I'm in the sandbox, so I can turn into a bunny and drop marbles for you. Give me 1 second. Oh, I forgot I had to run all the way back to the sandbox room. Okay, marbles, where are you? Marble balls. Okay, the marbles are a bag. So if you see the bunnies holding a bag, you know they're probably going to try and drop marbles. They can activate it to spill the marbles out like that. Let's say that you are chasing them. They drop the marbles, trying to see if you'll slip on it and give them a lot of extra time. Why is there Dora on the... Okay. For some reason, I really doubt the developers got the license for Dora the Explorer. Okay. So we're the magician again. The marbles are here, right? So if you're chasing that bunny, you can just go around that hitbox. It's not too bad, and you can continue the chase. Tip number 83, marbles are a lot easier to react to if you know they're there. Also, you'll get muscle memory in a little while to be able to hit the skill checks pretty consistently. It'd be really funny if I fail this, but if you know there are marbles there, you can normally hit the skill check pretty consistently, like that. Also, it's really funny when you're chasing a bunny and they drop like 3 marbles back to back and you hit every skill check. It's it's really fun. Tip number 84, I kind of talked about this a little earlier, but marbles can be used to save teammates, not just fireworks. If a teammate gets grabbed, a bunny can run underneath you, drop marbles, and run off, and you will still slip on them after you're done grabbing the bunny. Tip number 85, avoiding fireworks. Fireworks fly in a relatively straight line. They are affected by gravity, so they go downwards. That's why I said relatively straight. If you're following a bunny and you see that they're holding fireworks, you can try to kind of dodge at the right time to make them waste that firework. Otherwise, you're going to eat a pretty long stun. Tip number 86, kind of like what I was talking about before with the marbles and with the other items, you can see when a bunny is holding fireworks. They'll hold their hands kind of together. In fact, I can show you. So when a bunny holds the firework rocket, they hold it in 2 hands like that. That is a great sign that they're holding the fireworks. You can look for the bunny holding the firework in 2 hands. That's the big give. And then you can try and dodge like we were talking about before. Tip number 87. Normally, if you're chasing a bunny and they're on their death grab, meaning they have no protection gears left, if you're on a higher floor, they'll tend to jump off and down to avoid you grabbing them and killing them. This is because if they have no protection gears, there's really no massive downside to falling down because they don't get grabbed and die. It's really not worth chasing them in that case because you waste a lot of time finding the bunny where the others can do objectives. So just keep that in mind. If a bunny falls and they're on their death gear, they're probably trying to avoid death. Tip number 88, learn how panic works on the bunnies. If a bunny gets grabbed or damaged, except for the imposter, which is a notable exception, the bunny will go into a panic mode. When the bunny is panicked, they will move faster than you, and if you grab them, they can instantly escape your grasp, even before you kill them, so don't think that you'll be able to hit the kill button fast enough. Also, apparently this used to be a thing, but if you grab a bunny who is in panic, let them break out of your grasp, they can still go in holes. That panic still applies. Speaking of holes, tip 89, when a bunny is in panic, they can jump into these little holes scattered throughout the map that will highlight blue for the bunnies. They can do that to get away from the magician and it will teleport them to a random spot on the first floor. Or on a lower floor, one or the other. Either way, they're not going to be on the floor you're on. Tip number 90, we kind of talked about this earlier with the chest, but bunnies can heal themselves. Bunnies can get an item called the oil flask, oil jug, something like that, and they can use it to restore 1 gear. That's why it's really frustrating at higher MMRs when you get a bunny down to his death gear, throw him, and the next time you grab him, he has full gears again. Tip number 91, higher MMR bunnies can and will hide their keys. They'll drop keys in corners, that way they know where the key is, but you can't get it. It kind of denies your power a bit and it keeps their keys safe. Tip number 92, mute toxic bunnies. So this game has proximity chat, if assuming you have it enabled. Some bunnies, a very small portion because the devs are pretty good at getting rid of bunnies that do this, but some bunnies can very aggressively insult you, call you slurs, things like that. It's important to know you can just hit tab on the right hand side. You'll see an option to mute the bunny and then you can't hear them insulting you anymore. It's kind of bad that that has to go in a tips video, but the internet is the internet, so. Tip number 93, this isn't related to the game directly, but I like to use the time in the match lobby to use the pregame chat and be a little nice to the bunnies. It kind of lowers everybody's stress about the upcoming match if they are stressed out, and everything just feels a lot more chill. If I'm chatting with the bunnies and we're saying good luck, have fun, and they're saying please don't kill me, stuff like that, it makes everybody feel a little better, and then normally they'll give me some funny jokes in proximity chat. Tip number 94, explore the Discord server. The Carnival Hunt official Discord server is full of people giving tons of great tips. You can ask any question on there and normally it'll be answered in seconds. Tip number 95, this is also related to the Discord server, but you can get with experienced magician players and have them watch you streaming on Discord and giving you advice as you play. This is a great way to speed up your learning. Tip number 96, you can join my Discord down below. I know this is a bit of a shill, but I'm calling it a tip. If you join my Discord, you can ask me about any of these tips, just like you can ask in the comments, and I will give you any advice that I have. And finally, tip number 100, always give the bunnies some nods when you catch them. It's really good luck for the magician. It's definitely not gonna make some bunnies really mad or really happy, but every time you catch a bunny, it's good just to give them some nice nods and then continue with whatever you're doing. Or, you know, loot them while you're nodding. Honestly, it's the best thing you can do. It's so lucky. It's like a rabbit's foot, you know? Oh, that was a lot. So there you have it. 100 tips to become the star of your very own Twisted show. From managing your charge to mastering imposter placement, you now have the ultimate playbook for dominating the carnival. Remember, this game is always evolving, so the best trick you can learn is to stay flexible and keep experimenting. None of these tips are hard fast. If you liked some of the cards that I didn't like, you're more than welcome to use them. I am not omnipotent and I do not know everything about the game. I plan on making a sequel to this video if major changes do occur or if I learn anything really cool, so stay tuned to the channel if you're interested. Unfortunately, I don't have a key to the game, so I'm limited to playing during the public tests. But I will try to keep my ear to the pulse and keep up with the news as much as I can. Now it's your turn. What's your best trick as the carnival monster? Your most devious play? If you're a veteran performer, drop your own pro tips in the comments below. Let's make this comment section the ultimate resource for every magician in Carnival Hunt. And if you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and even hit that bell if you don't want to miss my next act. After all, the show must go on. As always, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the hunt.